Hi there, Smart Drivers. Rick with Smart Drive Test talking to you today about stopping for school buses and the school bus laws. I put up a video yesterday on that, and I had a comment from Dima Kamarov, and he stated that in the state of New York, even if it's on a divided highway, you still have to stop for a school bus. So that's what we're going to talk about today, stopping for a school bus on a divided highway and the exceptions to the rules, because as you know, there are unfortunately always exceptions to the rules. Now, just before we get started here, I want to have a little rant against New York State, because New York State always seems to be the exception. So just before we get started here, let's have a couple of things. We'll just do a bit of house cleaning here. If you got other things running in the background on your computer and whatnot, just turn those off, Facebook and whatnot, because it takes up a lot of your RAM and memory on your computer and those types of things, and the stream won't run as well if that happens. Now, if you have questions about licensing outside of school buses, by all means ask me a question about that. And if you really want your question answered about passing a road test or some of the instant fails on a road test, by all means, super chat is available as well, and you can simply send me a couple of bucks and I'll be sure to answer any questions you have. And if you ask me a question in super chat and give me a couple of bucks to answer that question, I will stick around after the end of the feed here, and I will make sure that I'll answer those in the comments. So if you do that, ask me a question, I will make sure that I actually get to your question. So yesterday, again, just repeating, I put up a video about school buses and the laws and regulations surrounding school buses. Tim asked me why school buses are yellow. So we'll just answer that question in a moment here. So I put up the video about that. Dima Kamarov said that buses in New York State have to stop even if it's a divided highway. And Lane Hagan said that most of my videos are general principles, but we like to mention and point out the exceptions to the rules. So why are school buses yellow? Probably the same reason that yellow cabs are yellow as well, because the person who founded yellow cabs years and years ago, before we had those bright neon colors that drive you crazy, yellow is the color that can be seen from the farthest distance. So it's an issue of safety in terms of yellow buses. It allows them to be more recognizable from a farther distance, and other traffic is able to see them. Submarines. Why are yellow submarines? The Beatles, I think, has something to do with yellow submarines. So the exception to the rule in New York State is, yes, you are supposed to stop even if you're on a divided highway. However, I will say to you, if you stop on a divided highway for a school bus with the lights flashing, there is a really good chance that you could be rear-ended. So we'll just go to the DMV handbook here, and in the DMV handbook, I'll just find that for you here. It says that you must stop for a school bus even if it is on the opposite side of a divided highway. Now that's interesting because it doesn't really define in the book what a divided highway is. A divided highway could be anything from a cement barrier to a berm to a nature strip between the two highways. So it's difficult to determine what a divided highway is. Now the other thing is, if you go to Wikipedia, in Wikipedia it says, and I wouldn't use this on a academic paper site, Wikipedia, but Wikipedia does have sources now and you can go to the sources. But in Wikipedia it says in the state of New York here that approximately 50,000 people a year pass school buses, and they posit the notion that most people are passing school buses on divided highways. That's why the numbers are so high. And I would probably agree with that, because if I was on a divided highway, I probably wouldn't stop for a school bus because I would risk being rear-ended by other traffic on the highway. So that's the reason that I wouldn't do it. They have proposed to change the legislation according to what's in here, but it hasn't been done. Now, the other thing that supersedes the driving manuals is the Highway Traffic Act, and I looked in the Highway Traffic Act, and there isn't anything in the Highway Traffic Act that says that you must stop for a school bus on a divided highway. So I don't know you know, that's the best information that I can give you, that yes, in fact, you do. So if you're on a road test and you're on a divided highway, you need to stop for a school bus, because otherwise you're going to fail your road test. Now, I said I wanted to have a rant against New York State. Yes, I do kind of want to have a rant against New York State, because not only does New York State have the exception that you have to stop for school buses even if you're on a divided highway, New York State is also the other U.S. state that the exit numbers on their interstate do not align with the mile markers. It's one of the only states that does that. The other thing about New York State is that the heights on bridges and overpasses is not from the ground. It's from the center of the hub. So there are lots of 12.6 heights of bridges and overpasses in New York State that you can go under in a truck that is 13 feet 6 inches high, which is the legal height. So New York State has some oddities in terms of its traffic laws, and I'm not sure why that is. So the school bus law, yes, you have to stop on a divided highway for a school bus in the state of New York. And there are some other exceptions here. As I was talking about Ontario, other traffic and bus drivers can act as eyewitnesses to get a conviction in a court of law, which I talked about in the video. And here in, they talked about it here, Jessica's Law in Arkansas on Wikipedia as well. And just go back to Wikipedia here for you for a sec. Jessica's Law also, in the same as keeping in Ontario, is that you're able to pedestrians, witnesses, and other motorists can as well act as witnesses to get a conviction in a court of law if other traffic passes a school bus. So know that as well. So there is a fair bit of information about that on Wikipedia. There's some good sources and some not so good sources in terms of what's on Wikipedia. It also says that the British Columbia, that you have to stop on the divided highway, which is not true because it's not in the Highway Traffic Act. So if you want the definitive answer, oftentimes it's going to be in the Highway Traffic Act. If it's not in the Highway Traffic Act, then it's unlikely that you have to stop on a divided highway. I haven't looked at a fair number of the Highway Traffic Acts, and that information hasn't been there. So just know that about the state of New York. If you're on a road test and you're in a rural area in the morning and doing a road test, that if you're on a divided highway and there's a school bus for whatever reason, that's going to be the fly in the ointment. Like emergency vehicles, you're going to have to stop for that vehicle. So just know that in terms of passing a road test. So if anybody has any comments other than that, that's what I wanted to talk about today. Leave me a comment. I'll be more than happy to answer your comments, get back to you, give you further information, or look something up for you. If you do find it in the New York State Highway Traffic Act about something about divided highways and defining divided highway, please send that information, that reference to me, because that will help me out to help out all of the smart drivers on the channel. Mastermind, does driving course video work with... I missed some of the comment here. Sorry, Mastermind, the whole comment didn't come through. Only a bit of the comment came through. So try typing that again and I'll answer your question for you. But I think that's it. If you have further questions or comments, leave them down. I'll hang out here for a bit. I'm just going to stop the live stream because they really don't have anything else to say. That's all I wanted to say about school buses. I am doing a video tomorrow on merging onto highways, and this is for the people already onto the highway, freeway, or motorway, and helping other people who are merging onto the freeway, highway, or motorway. Okay, Mastermind asked the question, and this is a good point that I would like to raise again and again. Can you look at the videos on my channel and pass your road test? Yes and no. You can look at the videos and do the techniques, skills, and abilities that I give you on my channel, but make sure that 7 to 10 days before your road test, hire a local driving school, go out and do a mock road test before you show up at the driving place, because there are specific information and nuances of driving examiners in the area where you're going to be taking your driving exam that I cannot give you that specific information because different driving examiners interpret different procedures and different laws in different ways. So, for example, I had a student, a smart driver on the channel the other day, say to me that when he stopped with the front wheels of the car on a left turn at the front crosswalk line, the examiner said to him or her that that was the reason that they failed the road test. Now, there's a little bit more going on than just that, but a local driving instructor is going to be able to give you that information on a mock road test and give you feedback about those abilities and skills that need to be strengthened for the purposes of a road test. So know that. Any hints on how to pass it tomorrow? Yesterday, Bayo, you're taking your road test. You took your road test yesterday and you're taking another road test tomorrow. I might suggest you postpone your road test and give yourself a little time just to sort of practice and get your self-confidence back, because that's not very much time between road tests, and sometimes I just say that you kind of need to take some time and regroup. So that would be my suggestion. Yeah, okay. Maybe not, but that's my suggestion, is just take some time and regroup. Okay, so we're going to end it there. If you have any comments or questions, I'll stick around for a few minutes on comments, and I'll be more than happy to help those or answer those for you. Thanks very much for showing up. Thanks very much for your comments. Good luck in your road test, and remember, pick the best answer, not necessarily the right answer. Have a great day. Bye now.